Today, we're looking at how to create a sense of community using social media. This is Queensgate. Now, they use their Instagram as a digital shop window. So it's a way of getting people physically down to the centre and showing off the great stuff that they have. And what I absolutely love about this is, and this is a little bit different. So this post itself here says, would you like to volunteer for the at Little Miracles charity? So today, so it's given that kind of fear of missing out, that kind of, it has to be today. Drop by the Little Miracles Sensory Room between 9 and 3 p.m. and meet their volunteer manager, Sarah, to how you could be part of an amazing charity. Plus, you can bring your kids down to play and learn more. So this is them promoting their Sensory Room, which is run by a charity. And what they're looking for is volunteers. So this, to me, just speaks of, it's the real people behind a place. A shopping centre is all about being like, the heart of the community, the hub of the local community. And what better way of showing that is to have, something as amazing as a sensory room and a way of getting people from the digital to the physical is by promoting it digitally. And what they're doing is they're humanizing everything by showing, I guess you can see there's like people in the background there. They are showing how lovely the signage is and the branding, and then they're mentioning Sarah by name, so you know who to come down to, and they're tagging in the Little Miracles charity as well, the people that run it. So it's lovely in so many ways. So it's heartwarming post. It shows me that they've got a sensory room. So if I didn't know it before, I would know it now. And again, I would find that through some of their hashtags here. But equally, it gives me a real insight into what they're doing at the centre and how I can be involved. And by knowing that actually I can volunteer and still bring my kids down and do something fun, again, it means that you're not alienating people. So again, it's just that way of kind of getting the community involved in the community. That's what volunteering is all about, isn't it? Everybody helping each other. And what better way of doing that than the local shopping centre promoting what they're doing for people who need it in the area.